Hello, welcome to Definition, Types, and Components in EDI Basics. We will cover the objectives first. We will know in this session the definition, network, message, and format of EDI components. We'll analyze a simple data flow, review the IG, and we'll look into the formats, three different major formats. We'll review X12, Edifact, and VDA. X12 Edifact, for X12 and Edifact, we'll review the messages, IG, and the file. For VDA, we'll just only review the messages. The definition of EDI is electronic data interchange, and electronic means data is sent through computer network. Data is document in file to carry a certain message, and they are sent in ASCII or text format, and these files are human readable. Interchange means send and receive function, which implies the direction of the message. Obviously, the question comes where this EDI is used for. They are mainly used for automation because data is sent through computer network, and this is an automation tool. It's used in very high volume data exchange, and due to computer involvement, there are very less data entry error, which gives a very high efficiency in business-to-business integration. And this particular EDI exchange in e-commerce is present in the industry for a long time. Talking about the industry, it's used in automotive, healthcare, transportation, banking, etc. And where you will see there are high volume of data going through, or there are high volume of business involved, you will see that the EDI is involved just to speed up or just to make the business process efficient between the customer and the supplier. In the definition, we looked at that the computer, data, and the direction. In the computer network, there are three types of network that are used. First one is the WAN interconnect. WAN stands for Value Added Network. These are third-party service provider who excels in data traffic routing, and they take the EDI data and the route to right trading partner where the data is supposed to go. The second is direct connect. In this case, there is a point-to-point connection between the sender and the receiver of the data. And the protocol that is used for direct connect in sending the data through, they are FTP, OFTP, or AS2. FTP that we all are kind of familiar with, it means File Transport Protocol. Then a different flavor of FTP is OFTP, which is Oded File Transport Protocol. And AS2 is another protocol which is used to exchange the document over the internet. These are not only the three protocols that you will come across. You will see that there are other protocols used in conjunction with these three. The third kind of network is the web EDI, where the data is sent through. As we looked at in the previous slide, that the EDI is an automated tool, but web EDI, it's semi-automated. It is automated from your side, provided you are a customer, but it is a manual work if you are a supplier to a customer who has a web EDI portal for their suppliers to log in and view the messages. Coming back to messages, the data that is sent through, they carry certain business information, and they are like purchase orders, order confirmation, advance ship notice, invoice, etc. And this data or the messages can be sent or received depending on where you stand or your company stand on the business chain. And these documents that are sent, they have a specific industry standard format. There are different industries who devised standards to make the EDI more acceptable across different marketplace. And they are ANSI X12, where ANSI stands for American National Standards Institute. EDIFACT stands for Electronic Data Interchange for Administration, Commerce, and Transport. Even EDIFACT is a mandated United Nations format. But you will see that when you go to work that X12 are mostly used in US and EDIFACT are mostly used in Europe. The other three formats that we have here, VDA, which is a German automotive industry format. Then we have ODET, which is also a subset of EDIFACT, and it's also used in Europe. And RND, which is used in Brazil, and this support the Brazilian automotive format. Let's take a look at a simple EDI architecture to understand what exactly happens when the data goes through different systems. Let's say that you are a customer and you have a number of trading partners who ship goods to you. You place the order and they ship you the goods. And in this process from your end to trading partner end, there are multiple systems involved, and this is a very simple EDI architecture. You have your EDI subsystem, you have your EDI van, trading partner has its van, and of course there would also be a translator over here for the trading partner to translate the messages. I'll get into now where the translation comes in. Let's say that you're sending a PO from your system to a trading partner. You send the PO, it comes to your EDI subsystem, then it translates the data to the formats or the standards we talked about. For example, X12 or EDIFACT. You send your data to your van in that EDI format. Your van, let's say, has to a van interconnect. They send the data from your van to trading partner's van. Then trading partner's van forward the data to the trading partner. Let's say there is another trading partner, you have another supplier who does not do communication through the van interconnect. Rather, he prefers to do FTP. So your van take the EDI document and FTP to the supplier or the trading partner. There may be another supplier who prefers OFTP, so you send the data through OFTP. And the way the data goes from inbound, from outbound to your system to trading partner, when the trading partner ships the goods, he can send you a ship notice saying that I have shipped you these goods. Can you please keep an eye on it and do a receipt against that ship notice that I'm sending you when you receive the goods. So he will send an ASN or advanced ship notice to the same data path and it will come to your system. Next, let's take a look at implementation guideline. Implementation guidelines are called IGs, and you will hear a lot when you get into EDI deployment. Every EDI-enabled company or the entity, they have their own IGs. And one thing to note that always a customer provides IGs or the implementation guidelines to their suppliers. EDI is always a customer-driven process. And they can have, or the customer can have formats in either X12 or EDIFACT or VDA or some other format the customer chooses. During the enablement process, when you want your supplier, if you're a customer, to do message exchange with you, then you provide all the messages that you have in the business process in a single package. And in this single package, you tell the supplier how the data should go back and forth and what are the actions the supplier need to take to complete that business functions that data carries. For every message specific IG, IGs are like blueprint of a given message, and it gives the document structure that you are trying to send. And every EDI document, and when I say document, we can call a PO a document. Every document has segments and fields, and so message contains the segments, segment contains the field, and fields contains the business data. For example, purchase order, or the date of the PO, the part number, and so forth. So IG is a blueprint of messages that you are going to send to your supplier, and it has both outbound and inbound message format in the IG, and you provide, or the customer provides, all the documents or all the IGs in one single package. X12 EDI messages, you will see that there are 3-digit numbers are used for X12 to denote the messages that are being sent. 850 for PO, and you will also see a 3010 or 4-digit number that defines the version of the message. So when I say 850 3010, it means purchase order version 3010 in X12. Similarly, there are 855, 860. 855 means PO acknowledgement. 860 means PO change. 830 is forecast. 862 shipping schedule. 856 advance ship notice, and 810 is invoice. Before I go to define a bit more about the IG with respect to 830, I want to describe the business process a bit before I go and talk about the 830 IG, so we could look at how an IG looks like, and along with the IG we'll also look at the test file or sample file to make sure that we understand the data content in the sample file and we can read what the sample file is all about. 830 and 862, these two messages most of the time are used in conjunction for a part or multiple parts that you have an agreement with the supplier for a given time frame. So let's say for 2013 you have an agreement with the supplier saying that I will send you the 830, you signed a contract with the supplier saying that on every week you ship me part ABC on this certain quantity. And in order to tell the supplier how much you need, you will send 830 to tell the supplier that this much I'm gonna need. So this is my forecast, and based on that, you do your planning and you do your procurement. The 862 you send in conjunction with 830 to tell the supplier that I send you a forecast. Can you ship that particular part with this quantity on this given date? So forecast and shipping schedule often goes together. But in some cases, some customers may choose to use only 830 by itself. And with the 830, there are ways to tell the suppliers that which dates are good for shipping. On 830 IG, you can see that, as I said, IG contains segments, and segment contains field, but we're not going to look into the segment fields here, but we'll cover those in the field mapping document section or the document session. So every document will have multiple segments. In 830 we can see beginning segment, a special instruction, reference numbers, name, an N1 loop which tells where the part should be shipped to, where it's coming from, and also it's a part of the IG, and there are also LIN segments that tell which part number to be shipped. Now let's take a look at the sample file, and as you can see in the sample file, there's 3 different segments of the file. That only one segment we saw in the IG in the previous slide. These 3 segments, ISA, GS, and ST, they are called envelopes. Envelope in a way that it tells who is the sender of the message and who is the receiver of the message. So on the ISA, it is the interchange envelope. That means it tells the sender-receiver pair. GS is the group envelope, so it tells what message type it contains, what are the groups. You can have multiple groups in a message. And ST is particular to one document within that message, and this is called the message envelope. So these 3 together defines the envelope of this message. After this, the BFR to FST, this is the body of the message. And from BFR, which is the beginning segment, to build to, ST for ship to, ship from, this is the document header. Starting with LIN, this is the line item segment, which tells that part number, what PO number that you had with your supplier, and FST, which is the shipping schedule, saying that I need parts on this given day. So as we can see that 830 file is a human readable file, and that follows the guidelines that was provided by customer. Segments in XML file, they are of variable length. As you can see, BFR goes to 42 character. You can see from here 42 character. N1 goes to, let's say, 19 character. So the segments in the XML file are variable. Now let's look at EDIFACT messages. For the EDIFACT, the messages are defined by 6 digits. They are all alpha characters, and they are more descriptive than X12. Orders is the PO, purchase order, and D967A is a version. Then you have order response, order change, DEL4, which is the delivery forecast, same as 830 that I just looked at. Then you have DELJIT, which is 862, DESADEVI, advanced ship notice, and DESADEVI, if you break that up, you can say dispatch advice. Same thing with Del4, delivery forecast. Deljit, delivery just in time. So that's telling that this is a shipping schedule. Then we have Invoic. Now IG for Del4, we'll start with BGM, which is the beginning segment. Then we have DTM, which is delivery schedule document date time. Reference segment, if you want to refer to any reference numbers in that message, you can do that. We have the NAD, which is the name and address, and this is similar to the N1 segment in X12. Down we have LIN segment, which is the line item. Then we have PIA, which is the additional product ID that you may have. Looking at a file for Del4. Similar to X12, Edifact also has 3 segments at the beginning of the file. They are also used as envelopes. And UNB is for interchange, UNG for group, UNH for message. After the envelope, and in the envelope, in the UNB segment, this is the sender of the message, and this is the receiver of the message. And these numbers that you see here, those numbers are defined at the VAN to identify a certain company. So your company, let's say you're global automotive, and you have your ID tied to global AU, and there's a supplier who has an ID 8797865428, and this is the qualifier, and we'll get to that more detail later in the course. Starting with BGM, which is the document beginning section, you can see that BGM to till LIN, this is the document header, while you have the release number, you have the date time when it's created, and these qualifiers like 137, you can see this is the date. These qualifiers mean different thing depending on their values. For NAD, we have buyer, ship from, ship to, and this is additional contact detail for the shipped location. Then we have the LIN segment, which tells the part number. We have the PO number. Then we have the QTY DTM segment, which tells what quantity to be shipped on what date. So if you look at the document content, what message we're sending to our trading partners or suppliers, they are pretty much the same. Only difference is that the way the data is represented. So X12 has one format, Edifact has one format. Coming back to VDA, unlike X12 and Edifact, VDA also uses 4-digit numbers. It's similar to X12, and you can see 4925 is a PO, 4905 is a forecast, 4905 is the shipping schedule, 4913 is the advance ship notice, and 4906 is the invoice. One major difference is that VDA uses fixed length files, unlike X12 and Edifact, where we saw that segment lengths are variable. We will not talk much about VDA because when you go to work, you will come across this, and as long as you have a good understanding of X12 and Edifact, you should be able to figure out what VDA is all about. With that, I will conclude this session, and hope this has been helpful. See you in next. Thanks.